go. Oh, I've got a backache from being at Lewis Capaldi concert like that all night. So hopefully this will help. Alright, ladies and gents, coming into your set position. Just anchor your weights into your heels, open up the knees and tuck under with your bottom. So you softly draw the tummy in, then pulling your head up towards the ceiling and a little roll back with the shoulders. From there, keeping the bum tucked, belly drawn in and keeping the ribs down as you start to circle around the shoulders. Be aware that the ribs aren't lifting as you lift the shoulders, trying to keep the back as long and as still as you can. You're going to feel your hands pulling down towards your knees, so you can feel your shoulder blades pulling down towards your back pockets. Making it a little bigger whenever you're ready, just crossing the hands in front of the head. Feel like it's your elbows that pull down towards the side of your ribs. Starting to add in a heel raise if you want to, lifting both heels. And as you lift the heels, try to keep the knees slightly open and the knees still slightly soft. Where the ankles don't roll apart as your heels lift. And just simply breathe in through your nose and out through the mouth. One more circle and then a step forward. Your right foot, step forward, just crossing the hands and then step back. Then your left foot and step back. When you step forward, try not to lean forward around the upper back. Try and keep your shoulders stacked nicely above the hips. And each time you draw the arms back, a little squeeze into the shoulder blades. Just be aware that as you draw the arms back, you're not pushing the rib cage forward. So again, we keep that nice neutral position throughout the full length of the spine. A little breath in as you come forwards, push out the heel, and keep landing your feet right back underneath your hips. And once more on each side. Then we're going to step backwards next. So starting with your right foot, stepping backwards, a little lift of the arms, and then step in, and then step back and forward. So it's just starting to bring that extension through your spine. As you step back, just onto the ball of the foot, and try and get your weights in your front heel. Then bit by bit, you can go a little further back if you want to, starting to allow that back knee to bend a little further. And again, as we're lifting the arms, we're trying not to let the ribs flare, or stand on the dog. Never a good start. Breathe in as you stride. Breathe out to push. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just once more on your left leg, and then we shall go out to the side next. So stepping out to the right. Lift the hands, keep the left leg still and the hips square to the front, and just add a little bit of twist and rotation through the spine. As we're bringing some rotation through the spine, want stability of the pelvis, so try not to let that hip roll around to the left, right. Try and keep your hips really square to the front. Now you can sit the hips a little further back to get a little bit more stretch in that left inner thigh. And each time you rise, pulling the crown of the head really high back up towards the ceiling. And when you lift the arms, let the shoulders drop down and relax away from the ears. Take a nice big breath in. Breathe out and pull back. And your next one, staying across. Let's get into those side bends. So squaring your hips to the front, straightening both legs, and gently pushing the hip over to the left, lifting the left elbow. Your right hand can just slide towards the knee, or just past the knee. And when you want to start deep in the stretch, let the arm come out to the side. Again, feel it's your left elbow that stays to bend, and you're physically pulling the elbow up to the ceiling. And feel that you're also lifting your left hip as well. And you keep pressing down through the edge of your right foot, but get a little bit more stretch into that inner thigh. Shoulders nice and open. Still keeping that little pinch between the shoulder blades. And your last one. Stepping in, step forward with your right foot, put your back heel down and straighten both legs. And just square the hips, hands behind the back. I'm going to come to a hip hinge again. I want you to think about pulling the bottom back as you start to tip forwards. So you're trying to get your right leg as long as possible, by almost lifting your bottom up towards the ceiling. As we are tipping forwards, we're trying to also maintain that nice length through the spine. Chin is slightly nodded in. Shoulder blades still gently squeezed together. and using that out breath as you tip forwards. And once more. Changing sides. So coming back to centre, we're going to step out to the left. So we lift the hands, left knees bent, a little turn, and back up tall. Shoulders relax as the arms lift. Your bottom squeezes here to stabilise the hips. So just try and be aware that right hip doesn't roll and point to the side of the room. You're keeping the hip back, so the pelvis here stays level, and you'll feel a little bit more rotation through the spine while encouraging that stability through the hips. And the whole way through, perfect posture. So feel the crown of the head pulls up to the ceiling and the shoulder blades pull down as you bring the hands back towards your thighs. 2 more. Keeping those shoulders relaxed as you twist. And then we're going to step across into our last twist and then stay square to the front. Straighten the left leg and then come into the side bends. So you can start with a small movement, just sliding to the knee. Or bit by bit, reaching a little further to the just below the knee. Or starting to reach the arm, just gently out to the side. Feel that right elbow lifts up to the ceiling. By lifting the right elbow, that's what's going to create a little bit more stretch through the waist. Feel your hip pushes over to the right. And again, that little lift of your hip towards the ceiling. So getting more stretch in those inner thighs. And twice more. We're going to take it again back into the hamstrings. So after this one, stepping forward. Nice long stride forward. And as you stride forward, place the back heel down and straighten the back leg. And square the hips. Lock the shoulders back. Take your little hip hinge. Breathing out as you lift the bottom. And a little breath in as you come to centre. So you can think about squeezing your bottom to push the hips back underneath your shoulders as you rise. And then bit by bit, you might be able to lift the left bottom a little higher. And you find as the muscles get a little bit warmer, more released, you might be able to go that little further forwards. And just once more here. And then back into centre. So from centre, taking the feet just outside of the hips, and let's come into our squats with some circles. We're going to lead back with the hips, reach up to the ceiling, and then circle the hands back to the thighs. So again, when we squat, try and make sure the knees don't go forward. It's always a push back into the hips first. Keeping the knees open from the hips, and trying to get your weight even through both of your heels. And if you feel okay with a heel raise, when you come out of your squats, you can lift the heels, but try not to block out the knees. And back's just locked. Keep going. Breathing in, and then breathing out to rise. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 more here. And I think we've got everything moving. And we'll add on. If you want to grab your 2 weights when you're ready. Ooh. 12 for concerts, clearly. Right, weights, 1 in each hand. We're going to start with a step back, alternating legs. So feet at hip distance. Stride back with your right foot and hinge forward. Then add a row and then step in. So we tip, pull, and then we rise. As we hinge forward, belly button through towards your spine. Chin nodded in. Now you can stay with a pull, or you can take it to a rear deltoid fly. As we take the arms wider, leverage increases, and it brings a little bit more work into the upper back. When you tip forward, look down to the floor, about 2 foot in front of your front foot. And each time you open the arms, feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. Now when you squeeze the shoulder blades together, you're going to feel the front of the chest and the front of the shoulders opening. Each time you do step in, wait into that heel and push through the heel. And 1 more on each side. The next time we come to our right leg, we're going to take a long stride back with the right leg. So take that stride back, that little tip forward. I get my balance. Push the back heel to the floor, come forward with a bicep curl and then open out to the side. So come forward and then open the chest. Now notice this front knee, your left knee stays over the heel. You can try and get that back heel towards the floor just to increase the stretch into your calf. Little breath in as you open. Breathe out to rise. Now think about the front of the chest and front of the shoulders. Try and keep them nice and open. So we're not letting the back round as we come forwards. 4 here. Out on the lift. Open the shoulders and the chest. Pulling the shoulder blades together at the back. And your last one. And hold here. Now pulling both elbows up, lifting that back heel. Just a double tricep kick back. So I want to open the front of the chest by squeezing the shoulder blades together. I want to try and straighten the arms rather than trying to lift them up towards the ceiling. Nice deep bend in the front knee, and that front knee, without falling over, stays open from the hip. Tailbone softly drawn down towards the heels the whole time. And again, breathing out through the mouth and a soft breath in to release. Try not to change the position of the upper body. So get your belly button pulled through to the spine. Shoulder blades still squeezed together. And once more. Perfect. And then step in. Change your legs. So your left leg strides back. So we can come back to those 2 moves together. Back heel towards the floor. Chest is forwards. Push up. And then open. Push up. And then open. Now when you bring your back foot down, try and roll from the tip of your big toe through the ball of your foot and back in to your heel. Now as you focus on moving through that back leg, think about how still your front knee stays. You should stay on that heel as you reach back. Holding the shoulders back, so when you lift your weights, you're keeping that squeeze between the shoulder blades and that openness through the chest and the shoulders. Out breath on the way up. Soft in breath. Once more. And then hold. Bring the arms down, pull the elbows up. Lift the back heel so you're pushing your weight forward into the front heel. And then just your tricep kickbacks. So I want to engage our core. So if you think about drawing the tailbone down towards that back heel, that's going to help to keep the length in the lower back. And I want that shoulder stability. So the shoulders dropping forward, really open up through the collarbones. And then just think about squeezing the back of the arms to lift the weights. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. Breathe out, slow breath in. Out. And 2 to go. Your last one, and then coming back into centre. Let's go to some wide squats today. So feet roughly outside your shoulder line, with the toes slightly out to a diagonal, and the knees open towards the toes. Shoulders sit back. Coming down into a squat and a single arm upright row. So again, when we squat, try to be where the knees don't move first. You're on the hips to sit back and then to rise. A little pinch slow between the shoulder blades. So as we come into our squat, we've not changed the alignment of the spine. If you want to add on a little bit more, you can add a front raise. Just level with the shoulder. Breathing out as soon as you start to rise. And keep breathing out right to the top. And if it feels okay, you can lift the arm a little higher. Drawing the arm just in front of your face, back into the heels and the hips. More bottom squeeze as you rise. That's where your power comes from, that push forward with the hips. And as you're pushing your hips forward, drive down through the heels at the same time. Breathing out with control, breathing with ease. And again, as you lower the weight, try and keep the chest open. One more on each side. And your last one here. And lower. Right, bring your waist just outside of your thighs. Chest open, into a lunge with the side bend. So just test your balance. Right leg strides back, bend the back knee. Take a side bend to your left, into centre, and step forward. And your left leg, shoulders stay above hips. And as you tilt to the side, you're trying to keep the spine as long as possible. So the ear tilts towards your shoulder. Before you tilt, open the knees a little from the hips and let your ear move towards your shoulder. So we're getting that movement through the neck and through the spine. But we're very, very focused on the stability of the knees and the hips. And if you want to just make it a small step, that's fine. Tuck the tailbone before you lower into the tilt. And if you want to make it longer, lower that back knee a little further if you can. And every time you do come forwards, feel the push out that front heel. Drive it down into the floor. Now the more you tuck your tailbone here, the more you're going to feel the stretch across the front of the hip and into the hip flexors. Still that little squeeze between the shoulder blades. So the shoulders going directly in line with the hips as we tilt and as we come back up tall in the centre. One more on each side. Tucking the tailbone, opening the knees from the hips and easing back in and holding. Right, from here, weights to the front of your shoulders, elbows in, side lunge. So again, small step, Martin if you've got your bad knee, or a nice wide step. As you step in, double shoulder press, back to the front of the shoulders. Hips sit back and you drive again your hips forward. Breathing in, out to rise. And if you can, add a knee lift, because we're going to add back in the triceps. So from the top, hold here, pull your elbows, pull your elbows in to your tricep kick back, don't look to the side, and then step across. Reach up, pull, tip, and again stride across. So you press the weights as you rise. Fix your eye gaze on something, don't look to the side because that never helps the balance. But do use your core here. Keep the abdominals drawn in. Stride, brace your core. Pull your elbows to the ribs and then extend. Step across. In from the elbows. I'm going to face forward because I keep wanting to dip. Shoulders right above the hips. It must be the alcohol that's still flowing through my bloodstream that's making me wobble. And again, pull down and extend. So it's just giving you a little bit of time here to feel your balance. Pull the elbows and kick back with both arms. Once more. Extend, pull down, extend to the back, and reset. Alright, so if it works any better on the other side. So bring your weight to the front of the shoulders again when you're ready. Over to your left. Hips sit back, just your press. And if you feel for any reason it's too much with both weights, you can do one arm, then you can do the other arm. Feels okay with both? Try and add the knee lift in. And again, if you don't want to come to the knee lift, just tap. Small step if needed, and a tap. Add in the triceps. Hold, pull your elbows down, then kick back, to your shoulders step wide. So brace your core, elbows pull to the ribs, and you hinge from the hips, back to the shoulders, and out wide. Now the whole time, think about that connection through your core. Like you're almost holding your belly button through towards your spine. Like you're trying to hold it away from your t-shirt. Feel the balance, then the control. And that's what makes it a little bit more challenging. You change from that power here, and then you've got your balance, and that smooth control to your triceps. Core on. Chest nice and high, so when you hinge, keep your chest forward and the shoulders open. Little brace. Slowly. Extend. 2 more. So you can feel the shoulders working. Hopefully feeling your core working, so it stabilises you as you move from one position to the other. Back towards the shoulders, and then fully extend and reset. Alright, so let's come to mat raises next. So you've got your weights in front of your thighs, collarbones are open, and your tailbone's tucked, knees are open too. You can gently rotate from one side to the other. Now notice the weight's not coming any higher than your shoulder. If the weights come higher than your shoulder is going to move up towards the ear. And then we're using the completely wrong muscles. So draw the shoulder blades down, and we start to add in a little bit of rotation to the upper body. Tailbone stays tucked under. You're breathing out as you rotate. And if you want to add back in your heel raises, lift both heels as you pull back the elbow. Looking to the right and all the way around to the left. Again, use the out breath, back into the heels, and still keep the knees soft as you lower your heels down. And try and keep the knees soft as you rise. Just makes things work a little harder. Once more each way. Smooth control. And then weights down towards your thighs, into a dead row. So we're going to come to the knees, push the hips back, open both elbows wide, back to the knees and push forward the hips. We hinge, we open, we touch the kneecaps and we rise. So we still get that feeling of leaning back with the hips and trying to put as much weight as you can into your bottom and back into your heels. Now think about your core, belly and breast. And if you want to make it a little harder, turn your palms in, and as you hinge, open the arms and then rise. So it's all one move. Hinging, pushing the hips back and then rising. Breathing in and breathing out to rise. So just start to hinge forward, chin is in, abdominals engaged. And almost feel your hamstrings as you push the hips back. And then pushing up strongly through the heels. Just two more here. And your last one. And then hold again in centre. Alright, back to a narrow squat this time. So feet just outside hips, shoulders are back. We're going to come into the squat. Right arm comes forward and then push out the heel. And your left arm forward and push out the heel. So again, we're trying to get the weight even in both feet. Don't lift the arm too high, just below shoulder level. And when you lift the arm, don't reach your shoulder forward. So at the top, pull your shoulder blades together and try and maintain that connection to your shoulder blades as you lean back with the hips. Elbows are soft and relaxed. You're breathing in, maybe a little deeper if it feels okay, but weight still no higher than your shoulder. Chin in, so nice alignment through the neck and through the spine the whole time. Feel your glutes do the work as you rise. Squeeze the bottom. Feel like you're powering yourself up from your hips. Shoulders getting a good workout this morning. Once more on each side. And your last one here. Stay in set position, just bring your feet in a little bit narrower. Open up the collarbones again and tuck the bottom. And just ease from side to side for a side bend. Try and let the head feel heavy. The ear stays in line with the shoulder. And then relax your shoulders. So you're not trying to lift the weight as you rise. And the weight's just hang in the hands and using your waist to pull your ribs back above your hips. Now if you feel that your weight's coming forward to the front of the thigh and knee, that will make your spine flex forward. So really concentrate on keeping it right down the outside of the thigh. And then bring your attention to your feet. Feel your weights evenly placed through both of your heels. A little breath in as you ease down, and then breathing out on the way up. Nice and long through the neck. And two more again, each side. So really start to work into the waist with a bit of stretch and a bit of strength, which will help when we come down onto our bottoms. So if you want to come down to your bottom when you're ready in a seated position. So the muscles have just been stretching and waking up. We're going to continue to work with those. So in this seated position, don't have your feet too close. We want to open up the hips, so take the feet a good distance forward. Shoulders above the hips and the weight's just above your knees. When you're ready, we're going to roll back, open the right arm, just lightly touching the floor and into centre. Then your left arm and into centre. Now I want you to check your knees don't roll in or out as you rotate the arm back. If it's too much with the weights, at any point just pop the weight down. Notice that I'm not reaching the arms forward, the elbows are really relaxed. So each time when you draw the arm back, it's helping to open the front of the shoulder. You're squeezing your shoulder blade gently in towards the spine. Just one more on each side. In breath, and then the out breath. And then come all the way down to the floor when you're ready. Let's get the heels in, nice and close. Hip bridges, still challenging our obliques. So elbows are in by the ribs, shoulders are set, and chin is in. When you're ready, we're going to rise to the top of the hip bridge, soft elbows, right arm out to the side, then your left arm out to the side, and then roll back down through the spine. Bring the elbows back by the ribs. So feel the tilt and the roll through your spine. Elbow stays relaxed. And as you're moving one arm, try and keep the opposite arm perfectly still. So if you focus here on pressing the shoulder blades down to the ground and try to get them pressed into the floor as you move the arms. That feels okay. If you're happy or not wobbling from side to side, we lift the opposite heel. So when your right arm lowers, your left heel lifts, and then your left arm and your right heel. And we come back to the roll down. Feel that you squeeze the bottom first, and slowly lift the heel. Place it down slowly. And as you make that transition from one foot to the other, that's where you're trying to focus on not letting your hips rock. So squeeze the bottom, keep it squeezed as you lift the heel, place it down, then the opposite heel, place it down, and then roll back through the spine. So again, out breath is strong, shoulders are anchored, trying to keep the knees in line with the hips as you lift the heels, and then control it down. We're going to do that one more time. Then we're going to come back to our triceps. And we roll all the way down. Top of the hip bridge, we're going to come up and we're going to stay there. So we need the shoulders anchored. Now starting with your right arm, just bend your right elbow and lift your left heel, and then place it down. And left elbow, right heel. Now keeping the bottom squeezed to keep the hips high. Option, come into a leg extension. Lift the heel and then squeeze the thigh. Making sure that when you either lift the heel or extend the leg, the hips aren't dropping down towards the floor. Still using the back of the shoulders, pressing the shoulders down. Keeping the weight even in both shoulders. When you feel the hips start to drop, come back to the heel raisers. Breathing out on the extension of the leg. Soft breathing as it comes down. Breathing out again. And once more on each side. We're going to come to both arms for the fly. So relax the elbows, weight over your chest rather than your face. Halfway down as you open both arms and squeeze back up. Squeezing the bottom for that hip extension. And the more we focus on squeezing the bottom to push the hips up, the more it's going to encourage the hip flexors to release. And sometimes when the hip flexors are a little tight, it inhibits our glutes from fully working. So really focus on squeezing the drive up with the hips. And again, you're driving the hips up, Drive down the shoulders. Check the knees, so in line with the hips. 2 more to the top. And once more. And then come all the way down. Hug your knees in. Just giving your glutes and your hamstrings a little release. Hold on to your right knee and take your left leg out. Shoulders sit back. Lower it to the floor a little. And then change legs. Now chin is nodded in. And you're feeling both shoulders gently press the ground. If you want to lift your head and your shoulders, that's going to bring a little work into your upper abdominals. But we've got the chin in and we're looking directly towards the thigh as the knee comes in. And if you want to stretch them a little more, maybe a straight leg pull. Gently drawing the knee towards your nose. Breathing out each time you pull the leg in. Let the heel maybe come a little closer towards the ground to gently increase the stretch. And one more on each side. And then you can rest down. Have a roll onto your side when you're ready. With the one weight. Let's work with the arms and the legs together. Let's have both legs out straight. So ankles, knees, hips, shoulder and ear, all nicely lined. And your weights in your top hand. So when you lift this weight, you might feel the shoulder moves up towards the ear. Try and let the shoulder shrug, pull the shoulder blade down. From here, top leg lifts. We're going to bring the arm forward. We're going to hover it just in line with the shoulder and then lower back to centre. We're going to breathe in on the way down and breathe out on the way up. Now we're also going to try and squeeze the front of the thighs, especially the one that's resting on the floor. That's going to make you wobble a little bit more. But again, think about using your core. Draw the belly button gently in towards the spine. And each time you lift the arm, feel the shoulder blade moving back towards the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blade back. Now, as you lower the weight, try and keep the shoulder blade held in towards the spine, even if it means your arm doesn't come as low. Think about the shoulder, holding it in place. Check the ribs aren't flaring forward, so just using the upper abdominals to slightly connect the ribs down towards the hips. One more time, holding at the top. Set your shoulder again, lift your top leg. We're going to bring the knee forward with a tricep press, and then we extend. So you're going to try and get your shin almost parallel to the front of the room as your knee comes forward. Sometimes you tend to drop the foot back so the kneecap points forward. I want the whole leg to come forwards if you can. Still aware the shoulders, not shrugging up towards the ear. So we're still using the stabilising muscles just below the shoulder blade. Just look at that bottom thigh, slightly squeezed. Ribs down, tummy in. And then breathe in. In as you ease down, out as you extend. 2 more here. And your last one. And hold. Bring the weight down. Both legs, keep them out straight. Double leg lift, so get the inner thigh working. Just slide the top hip away from the rib. You can keep your hand on your hip if you want to, or on the floor, but don't let the feet separate. So it's just a little lift. Now try not to push the bottom rib down on the floor as you lift your legs. So think about bracing the core to stabilise the ribs, the spine and the hips, and then using the inner and outer thighs for that double leg lift. Try not to rest in between, so just that little hover each time. 3, 2, and your last one, and rest. To the other side when you're ready. So we're going to come to the shoulder stabilising work first. And once we've got that shoulder stabilised, we'll add in the triceps. And then we'll bring back in that inner thigh. So everything aligned, ankles to ears. Top arm just above your shoulder and not letting the shoulder shrug up. So draw the shoulder blade down. Squeeze the thighs and tuck your bottom a little. Breathing in. As you lower the leg, bring the arm level with the shoulder, no lower. And then breathe out, pull the shoulder blade back. Notice how the elbow is soft and relaxed, it's not tense. And that's going to keep the work and the stress out the elbow joint and keep it more around shoulder and the chest. Breathing in as you lower. Breathe out, pull the weight back. So as you pull the arm back this time, see if you can get the shoulder blade a little closer to the spine. Now see if you can hold it there as the weight comes forward. So we'll really start to feel how it locks the shoulder blade into position, like it's being pinned on the back of your rib cage. Wrist is soft and relaxed, feel it's the shoulder that's doing the work. Holding that shoulder blade tightly in towards the spine. Breathe in slowly. As you breathe out, think about engaging your core a little more. So strong out breath as soon as you start to lift. Breathe in slow. Start to breathe out with a lift. Once more, holding that shoulder blade back this time. When you're ready to lift the leg, tricep press and a knee drop forwards. And then extending. Think about trying to keep length here between your hip and your rib. As that knee comes forward, you might feel that hip wants to drop up towards the rib. So make that top leg as long as you can. After taking the leg the wrong way, comes forward, not back. So get your shin parallel to the front of the room as the knee comes forward. Now checking again on the ribs. This is where they tend to flare forward sometimes. So just that extra little engagement and awareness through the upper abdominals. Breathing out on the extension. Slow breath in as you ease down. Two more here. Your last one. We can ditch the weights. Bring the weight down and the legs. So hand onto the hip if you prefer, pushing the hip away from the rib. And then trying to lift both legs without letting your hip push back up towards the rib. Now if you've got the hand here, it's fine. Just make sure the shoulder hasn't dropped forward. So roll the shoulder back and then push the hip away from the rib. So you feel you've got a really strong set position through your upper body. As you breathe out, feel the belly button, draw into the spine to engage your core more. Try and let the feet separate. Feeling the outer thigh, feeling the hip, feeling your core, and hopefully some balance. And again, 5 to go, if I don't fall over first. 4, out breath strong. 3, just to a hover. 2, no resting. Until now, feet down. Right, come onto your back with your one weight. So we're just going to try and hold the weight still. All we have to do today. So we're going to hold the weight above the chest, not the face, and the shoulders away from the ears. Knees hip distance apart and above the hips. And now keeping the weight and the shoulders anchored to the shoulders anchored and the weight still. You're going to roll your knees across the right and then into centre. Your main focus is that weight. Keep it as still as possible. Breathe in as they roll across and then breathe out to centre. The more you're keeping the weight still and the shoulders pressed onto the floor, the more rotation you're going to feel through your waist. If the weight starts to move, you kind of counterbalance and rotate and do the upper back a little. So still as you can. And if you want to make it harder, legs straight, roll onto the outside of the hip, into the centre, and into the opposite hip. Slow breath in as they move across. Breathe out to reset. Don't rush. Cancel the weight as you're moving. Next thing's a little bit more challenging. The last one on each side. And you can bring everything down. Feet and weights. Alright, hold both knees again back into your chest. And then when you're ready, take the knees up to 90 degrees. Pull them into the chest and push them away. So you can just draw circles with the hips. Breathe in as they open. Breathe out as you pull them back. And use the hands to pull the knees in. Now reverse, push the knees away with your hands, then pull them back. Trying to keep the lower back down towards the floor so it's getting lots of mobility through the hips and lots of release through the inner thighs. One more time. Now you can keep the knees bent or legs a little straighter. We're going to bring the legs out, just feel a little inner thigh stretch and then squeeze them back together. So again, you might prefer that with your knees bent here, opening and then squeezing from your inner thighs. Notice as the legs open, the lower back doesn't lift away from the ground. So draw the belly button to the spine first and try and hold it down as the legs open. Obviously if the legs are higher, leave it just bigger. You'll have to work harder to keep your lower back down on the ground. Try and nod in the chin. Squeeze the inner thighs. Breathe in slowly as you open. And then breathe out, close. Soft breath in. Little pause. Breathe out and close. 2 more. A little hold. And then a strong squeeze. 1 more time. Bend the knees, they're not already bent. Tuck in your chin and take a roll up. Let's release the hips. So in this seated position, with your feet nice and wide, don't move the feet, just roll onto the outer edge of your foot so you bring both knees down to about 90 degrees. Then turn your chest, so your chest is in line with your right thigh. Right hand on the floor, left hand on the floor or on your ankle. You're going to push your chest forward and really lengthen your spine. Keeping the length in the spine, bend your elbows rather than your back and let your heart come forward over the thigh, over the knee. Gently press the knee down into the floor. Now try and turn your head and look over your right shoulder, keeping that right knee pressed down. Let the rib cage turn a little. Keep pushing your rib cage forward at the same time. And then release. Change legs. So knees wide, roll to the left. So your left shin is parallel to the side of the room. Then we turn the chest, so your chest is in line with your thigh. Lengthen your spine and roll the shoulders back. So we're trying to keep that length in the spine as we take our body weight forwards. Gently pressing down with the knee and feel your elbows bend to lower you down rather than your back. Once you've found that place, and you'll know when you're there, just breathe into it nice and deep. Breathe out so you can ease a little further forward. And then turn your chest, turn your rib cage and your shoulders to the left. You're looking over your left shoulder. You're still pressing the left knee gently down to the ground. That's good for the hips. For well-worked hips, definitely. And then ease back into the centre and come back in centre. Hands underneath your shoulders and bring the knees around underneath of your hips. So nice long spine. Come into a couple of cat stretches. I just want you to roll through the spine. Try and keep your back long, flat and still until you've tucked your bottom. Roll through your mid-back and let the chin tuck in as you look towards your thighs. And then gently lowering the belly and lifting up your eye gaze. Again, tuck the bottom, draw the belly button up, eyes to thighs, and then eye gaze back to the ceiling. And in centre we settle, toes are tucked, the hips lift. Now you can walk your feet forward or you can walk your hands back, whichever feels most challenging, not the easiest. Rest the hands, tuck in the chin, weight into the heels, option, elbow onto your thighs. Whenever you're ready, keeping the knees soft, just gently restack and roll back up through the spine. Keeping the chin tucked in as you roll up, and that'll bring more release through the back. Tuck at the bottom, and a little twist from side to side. Not the knees, not the hips, you're saying concrete from your hips and below. And just have a little glance around from one side to the other. And your last one each way. And then holding back in centre, back to your perfect posture for a shoulder shrug. And again, a nice big breath in and an out breath to release. Well done, ladies and gents, hope that started your week beautifully. Got some beautiful weather. We're all nice